In this video, we'll be creating an Inksoft store from scratch. I'll show you the basic process. We're going to start out in Google Drive because the salesperson should be providing you information on what the customer wants their web store to look like. And that should be saved here under the folder in Google Drive, Online Stores. If it's not immediately visible, it might be under Shared with Me, or you can always search for it up here in the search bar and by typing in Online Stores. Let's go ahead and open that folder. And when you do, you're going to look for the folder that contains the name of the customer whose store you're going to create. Today we're creating a new store for Calyx. Calyx already has their folder here. However, they don't have a new template. This is going to be more or less a clone of their already existing store. Normally what a salesperson would provide you is this file here, template simplified store builder. So we're going to open that to look through it. This template exactly follows the Inksoft store creation process. So it's going to look exactly like what you go through in Inksoft, and it's going to tell you everything you need to know. The salesperson should have this saved as a named copy inside their folder. So if it was for Calyx Store, there should be a copy of this in the Calyx folder, renamed to like Calyx Store Builder or something like that with the information that Calyx has. In our case, we're going to just jump in right into Inksoft. So we're going to come in here, log in, and log into the Inksoft dashboard. We've got all of our stores down here. We're going to come over to this button and hit Create New Store. We're going to need the name, and in this case, this is going to be Calyx EAD Store. This is for Employee Appreciation Day. Rather than spell that entire thing out, we're going to call it EAD, because this name, as you can see, becomes the URL, and if we typed out Employee Appreciation Day Store, this URL would be super long. So we're going to abbreviate it to the EAD Store, which would also be the first question on this template. What would you like your store to be called? This will also be the domain name. And a second choice just in case the first is unavailable. It's unlikely to be the case, but you never know. This store is going to be private, and we are going to have a password for it. This password is going to be lowercase EAD 2023. Make sure we spelled that right, EAD 2023. Nope, we are not going to remember this particular password. So this is the contact info. So if someone has a question for us, who are they going to get a hold of? They're going to get a hold of 707 Embroidery Zone. They're not going to get a hold of shipping department though. They are going to ask for, in this case, Johanna Ron. She's the salesperson who works with Calyx. Okay, so at this point in the template, usually, oh, I apologize, these are slightly out of order. Maybe Inksoft changed it since I last created this. So the logos normally would just be inserted here, or if the person creating is not very tech savvy, the salesperson will have emailed you the logos. So we're going to find the logo. In this case, I have it already saved to my desktop. And Calyx doesn't have an icon or a preview image, so we're not going to worry about those. We're just worried about the logo. So do you want to add a designer to this store? This is asking if you want the customer to be able to design their own garments on the store. Do you want them to be able to add their own logos to shirts, their own artwork? And the answer in this particular case is no, but I don't think at this point any of our stores allow that. That would have to be something that the customer specifically wants. Let's see, this store, most of our stores are on demand. That's where the customer puts in their order and we create it and ship it out one by one. This case, it's going to be an expected production date for this store. Ooh, and I don't have a expected production date, so we'll just switch it back to on demand and leave it there. This doesn't affect a whole lot. There's a couple options later on, but this is not a huge deal. Shipping methods, yes, we are going to be shipping things to the customers for this store. We're going to offer ground, 3-day select, 2nd-day air, next day air, and worldwide express. Can keep going down. Nope. So all of these are ways we can ship things. In the case of Calyx, though, we're just going to keep it real simple to UPS and apply. Do we want them to be on? Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Yeah, so they can show up in this order. If we wanted to, we could drag them to rearrange them, but they go essentially cheapest ground to most expensive. 3-day select is next, 2nd-day air is more expensive, next day air is the most expensive, and then worldwide express is just all the international shipping. Do you want to create a pickup location for the store? This would be if it was a store local to Napa and we are allowing the customer to come pick up their garments at 707. In this particular case for Calyx, no, we're not going to allow them to pick up. It's going to be shipping only. Calyx has employees all over the world. We'll be shipping everything. Checkout settings. Our options here, customer payment required, optional, or disabled. Most stores are going to be required. The customer has to pay. In this case, this store is going to be, customer payment is going to be optional. So this is for Employee Appreciation Day gifts. So the customer is going to be a Calyx employee receiving a gift on behalf of Calyx. Calyx does not want to charge their employees for the gifts. So we're going to choose optional. Whereas in the regular Calyx store, payment is required. That's employees buying Calyx logoed things for their own personal use. So that's something where payment is required. So payment is optional. We're going to accept purchase orders, in this case from any customer. And purchase order attachments, that's if like we needed proof of a purchase order. We don't need that. Not in this case. If we wanted to allow gift messages, we could. We're not going to. Each employee is going to be ordering their own gift. They don't need to send a message to themselves. We could accept coupons or gift cards. In this case, we're not going to. We don't need it. Their employees are not going to be paying. And then display estimated delivery date. We are going to disable this in this case because this is going to be a situation where things ship out as they once the mass order reaches 707. It's not going to be like a situation where the person has, say, purchased a t-shirt and then we're going to print it and send it to them. So like we could say like, oh, you'll have it in about 10 days. This is going to be a bit of a different setup, so we're not going to display the estimated delivery date. Custom checkout fields. There are going to be custom checkout fields. We're going to need them. And it's going to be a multiple entry drop-down box. I'm just going to put in a placeholder for right now. The Calyx store asks people to fill out their region so they know what region of the business the employee works for. At the moment, um, I'm not going to fill those out. I can go back and edit that later. So I'm just going to type in region. Then let's see, I know North America is a region. Europe is a region. I'm not sure because they actually break it up. I think how they break it down. Oh, and that's in the wrong spot anyways. There's the drop down menus. So this is the instructions. So please tell us which Calyx region you work for. And I'm going to go back and edit this later, so it's just a placeholder at the moment. All right, so now this is store notifications for ourselves, our own internal notifications. So we do want a daily order summary to go to store admin at EMB zone. And in this case, we're going to add a second address. We also want this to go to Johanna. Okay, so we're going to send it to her as well. That way, production gets a copy of the orders coming in, and so does the salesperson in charge of the store. She's also going to get the contact us notifications. We want to make sure that somebody is getting this. So even if we were just leaving this like a generic store admin, we would want to make sure that the contact us notifications went to store admin. In this case, there's a dedicated salesperson. We'll send contact us to her. All right, display social media buttons. This is a private store. Calyx is not looking to advertise it on social media, so we can just turn that off. We could, though, link to a customer's other social media things if they were trying to drive more business to their site. The store policies, usually 90% of the time we're going to go with generic. Calyx does have, excuse me, Calyx does have custom store policies. I will come back and add those in later. It's easy enough to do later on as well. And in this case, we're not going to create a custom domain for them. We're just going to let it be a generic store. It's only going to be up for a short amount of time. The regular Calyx store does have a custom domain, but this one we're going to go generic. All right, it's completed. Let's go to the store. So this is pretty blank. You can see there's the Calyx logo. There's no products yet to speak of. But we want this to look like the regular Calyx store, so we're going to go into the style editor and we are going to add some stuff. So we can do featured products here. We will do that. I believe there are only going to be 3 products on the store, so it's going to be real easy to choose which featured products go here, but we are not there yet. The regular Calyx store has some banners, so we are going to put that in. You can also change how many featured products you want here. And I got to this in the from the add button from the bottom. And they do a hero space banner. So we're going to have it here, and we're going to move it to the top because they have it ahead of the product. So then we're going to come over here to the left and come over where we have our banners saved and upload them. All right, so there are the 3 banners that Calyx uses, and we can now hit save and publish. That means when we go back to the store and refresh, their banners will come by. And if you scroll down, you can still see featured products. And that's all we're going to do here for the moment till we get some products to add. In the next video, I will show you how to create this store in Shopworks.